So I'm getting the corn bed where we're gonna have the corn, pulling that and putting it over. There we go. I'll just level it up. Alright, so we got compost in the bed. We need the topsoil. Right now the little silkies are out here enjoying some time.
Solo?
Hey, I'm Matt, and welcome to my urban homestead. So the sun's just going down here now, and the chickens have gone inside their house here to roost. And I got this piece of tube here. It looks kind of like a snake, and we're gonna head in and we're gonna kick them out. All right, everybody. I'm sorry. I'll be as gentle as possible. All right. Woo. Come on. Out, out, out. Go on. Out. Come on. Out of here. Out of here. Go on. Out. They may not want to go. Come on. Let's go. Out. Come on. Come on. We're going to get a couple of them out at least. And I'll tell why in a minute. Come on. Come on. Come on. Ooh, look, there's an egg. All right. Very cool. Put that in my back pocket and make sure I don't forget. We got a couple of them out. We don't have to get them all out. Okay. And you may ask yourself, gee, Matt, that was a jerk thing to do. Why did you do that? And this is part of pest control here that I use. Let me see. I think I got a couple of the birds out. Yeah, the new ones are out. And a couple of the bigger ones. Okay, that's all right. And so what I'm doing, I'm going to kick a couple of them out. And we'll block off their door, their temporary entrance here. And the lights are going to go out. They're going to be mad, but I think the other ones are over there. They're going to be mad, but lights are going to go out. They'll kind of roost. And then after my stream, I'm going to come out here and I'll turn up all the lights. And I'll turn all the lights on over there as well. And so we come over here. They're all mad. There are a couple in the corner. And so one of the insects, or one of the pests that we deal with here on the urban homestead is cockroaches. We have some of those. And they come over this back wall here and under it and hang out. So this time of year, we've been getting some of those. And so I'm going to kick the birds out. They're going to sit and roost and be angry. The lights will go off. And then I'm going to come out after the stream and we'll turn all the lights on and they'll eat up a bunch of those roaches. And then I'll let them go in and have peace for tonight. So I'll be right back. Join me inside. Right. Got to remember to take that egg out of my pocket. Okay, well, hello, good evening, everyone that's in here. So that may have been a jerk thing to do, but what I'm doing is I kick some of the chickens out, and they will get all cozy, and then lights will go off, those roaches will come out, then I'll turn all the lights on, and they'll eat them up. So that's part of the pest control I'll do every now and then here on the urban homestead. Yes, do their job. So hello, Mr. Landfill, hello, Verna, and Steve, and anyone in here watching now or that may watch later in replay. It's muchly appreciated. Make sure you give me a thumbs up, and that does help out quite a bit. Let's see. So some of what's been going on here on the homestead. Let's see, one moment. I got a bunch of notes tonight. And so there's been a lot going on here at the homestead. You may have seen in some of that opening video, we got a 10 by 6 foot corn plot in that should give me about 100 stalks of corn, hopefully. If I do 10 in each row, 10 there. And I got the chickens are having fun. They've been going through the yard. So some of them you may have seen are missing some feathers. And that's pretty common. A lot of things can cause that. They're growing back now. But when I start seeing that, I address a few things right away. Do they have mites? They don't. I cleaned it out and used some diatomaceous earth and different things like that, but they're fine that way. Up their protein and calcium because they'll get those from the feathers, and then also boredom. And so in their coop, I've built a new little play area they can get on. And now that the plants have established enough, I can let them out into the yard and block off the ones I don't want to let them get to. So, anyways, they are definitely doing their job, Steve. They are getting to it. Let's see. So I hope everyone, we don't have too many people in here. I know most of y'all are safe where you're at, but I always do like to ask. Yes, Verna, the chicken. You need some chickens. See, we got to get you a place to have some chickens. And so tonight we have kind of one topic I'm going to talk about. And so it's going to be both my urban homestead chat, my garden chat, and my bunker chat all in one. And that's going to be on oregano. Oregano is it's an amazing herb, and actually I kind of put, is it a miracle herb? Who knows? But I started looking into it after last week's stream when it was suggested for sinus issues and things like that. And when I really started digging into it, I found out a lot. There is so much on it. And tonight I'm going to just kind of briefly go over some things. But oregano is a great herb to have. It can solve many problems. It's a good one to have as a prepper as well, for many different reasons. And so tonight we're going to do a few different things. We are going to make an oregano oil and talk about that a little bit. I'm going to discuss oregano and some of the benefits and kind of briefly go over that, different ways to use it and some things like that. And then we're going to make a candle as well at the end. And all of that. So before I dig into tonight's, because it is on a medicinal herb and all that, I just want to make sure that I am safe. So I give a little bit of a disclaimer, and that is that I am not a medical professional. Oregano is very, very powerful herb. Avoid using it alongside probiotics or supplements. Take it 2 to 3 hours before or after. Don't use it for more than 10 days straight. You don't really want to do that. And use caution if you rely on insulin with it. As I said, I'm not a doctor. These are just my opinions and findings and things from the internet. So always do your own research. Talk with your doctor if you need before herbal supplements, especially if pregnant or nursing. So there's my little disclaimer, and then I'm going to hop into tonight's stream a little bit. And so I know the opening was a little long there. I am going to shoot to get tonight's stream at about an hour. There we go. And so the first thing I'm going to do is I'm actually going to start off by making the oregano oil. And that's going to need to sit for about 15 minutes there for part of it. And so we're going to make that, let it sit, and then hop into discussion. So let me go ahead and set up this other camera real quick here. Excuse me. There we go. And I'm going to put this other camera on real quick. And there's my little table that I got set up. And so what we're going to do is we're going to be making a simple oregano oil. Now you can buy oregano oil. You can buy it that's been, made through, I want to say diffused, not diffused. Distilled or different things like that, much more powerful. You can get it in capsules or very regulated. What I'm going to make is just a kind of an easy homemade remedy, and we'll dive into other ways. But let me start here. So the first thing I'm going to need is my sterile jar. So I have this little tall jar here. I'm going to sterilize and oregano. Now, we don't have a whole lot of fresh oregano going right now. I just have one little plant, one little sprig pretty much. And so oregano has been an herb that I definitely have used in cooking. It's one I used for flavor. And so we grow a little bit of oregano, not a whole lot. But after everything I found out about it and am finding out, it's definitely going to be one we're going to grow a whole lot more of. So like I said, it's a good one to put in your prepper closet. So if the world goes to crap, or you're wanting to live a more natural and sustainable lifestyle, could there really be one herb that could be king? I don't know, but I did learn a lot about it. and oregano is a great one. And so it can be used, or it can be made or bought. It can be used in oils, tinctures, teas, herbal vinegars, glycerites, powders, infusers, steam baths, salves, mixtures, and much, much more. And for a lot of different illnesses. And so I'm going to take a little bit of my fresh oregano. I wish I had more, but it's getting a little hot in here, so I'll open this window and the door. Anyway, I'm going to cut a little bit of that up. I'm going to save a little bit for later. And you can also do it with dry oregano. And so I got some dry oregano that we grew last year. So we'll put that into the jar. And I'm just going to fill it about halfway up. There we go. A little less than halfway. Give me just a moment here while I open up a window and a door. Okay. The only other thing I'm going to add here is an oil. And I'm sorry, babe, I am using some of your cooking oil. I will get you more. But I have an olive oil here. You can also use a different type of oil if you would like. Let me open this up. Hey, PJ, good to see you. And so I'm just going to want to add the olive oil so it's covered. The dry oregano leaves are going to soak more of it up than the fresh. So I may need to add a little bit more. But I just want to add enough so that it's covered. Pretty good there. And I kind of mix it up. I might add just a little bit more there, just to keep it covered. Now this isn't going to be ready today. It's going to take a little bit of time, but let's get it going. So I'm going to pop that lid on, give that a little bit of a shake, and let me go grab a pot of water. So I have a pot of water I've been boiling. I've stopped it from boiling, and so it's just about at that point, still very, very hot. Let me go grab that. All right, so I got my pot of hot water. As you can see, I got a little rubber trivet in the bottom, so the glass isn't right on the bottom. And I'm going to set this in here, not too high, about halfway up on that jar. And this is going to sit for 15 minutes. And so we're going to let that go nice and warm in that hot, hot water for about 15 minutes. And there we go. It does. It looks like pesto, which is absolutely delicious. Okay, so I got that going. While that's sitting there for 15 minutes, I'm going to run through a spiel on oregano. And so let's see. First of all, let me see if there's any comments. And tonight is going to be one of those more informational live streams where I spit a bunch of stuff out at you. I do want to say I'm not going to cover nearly everything on oregano oil, and stuff like that. There is a ton to it. I'm just going to kind of briefly go over it. We're going to make a few things, and then hopefully I encourage you guys to look into it more, because it's definitely a #1 herb to have there. So we're going to hop into what it's for right now. Let's see. Oops, that's not what I wanted to do. Pause. Okay, and then let's do, can I do this? Nope. There we go. Okay. So hopefully y'all can see that there a little bit. So obviously oregano, or in this case oregano oil that we're making, can be used for a ton of things. It is so good for you. And so we're going to hop into this here right now. So I used to really just think it was good for cooking. I love to put it in spaghetti and different things like that. Very tasty, but there is so much more to it. So first of all, it's an antiviral, but it's also an antibacterial. So this means it's going to be great for anything that people may be experiencing now, allergies. It's going to be really good for colds. And because colds are viral, they're not bacterial. This is something a lot of times, kind of going to the prepper side, a lot of times people will waste their antibiotics on a cold or something like that. Don't do that. It's not going to help it out. Only use antibiotics when you have to anyways, I like to say, because they do kill a lot of that beneficial bacteria in you too. So by building up your immune system and attacking things correctly, hopefully you don't have to use those as much. Kind of a side note. So let's see. And I do have a lot of notes, so you will have to bear with me a little bit. So first of all, antibacterial. We get a lot of bacteria from all kinds of things in our body all the time based on what's on us. It could be bad food we eat, all kinds of different stuff like that. So being an antibacterial is really going to help to attack those things in our body. It's antifungal. So this is going to help keep infections under control. It can be help with athlete's foot, and we'll get into that in a bit here, a little bit more. It can help with other communicable diseases or things like that that can be passed along. It's an antiviral, as I said, and so this is going to help with mumps, colds. It can help with chicken pox. Like I said, colds, flus, helps to build the immune system. It's antiparasitic. So this is going to help attack any types of parasites you may have in your body, any roundworms, tapeworms, anything like that. It can be used to attack. Anti-allergenic and antioxidant. So it's going to help prevent those histamine reactions that you're going to get from different allergies. It can be used in combination with other things to really help there. Antioxidant, so that can help you with wrinkles, with aging, different stuff like that. Now, this is a hard word for me to say. It's immunogogue, I believe. And so this is going to help to increase and regulate menstruations. It may really, really help with people that have problems in this area, so I'm not going to dive into it, but it's definitely something you can use if you have issues like that, especially in conjunction with things like chamomile tea. So some of the remedies and uses that can go along with it is, and I'm not touching on everything here, I just have some of them up on the screen. I'm, again, just briefly going over stuff, hopefully encouraging you guys to look into oregano oil and its uses more. But so some of the remedies, uses for some things that you may encounter. It's good for anti-aging. Maybe you should bathe in it. So it can help with tinnitus or vertigo. It's going to help relieve earaches, or it can help with ear infections. If you have problems like that with your sinuses or things related around the ears, a few drops of the oregano oil in your ears with maybe a carrier oil like coconut oil or something like that. You can even do it just directly with the oregano oil in your ear. Is really going to help to alleviate that, as well as to kill anything that may be going on there. Again, I had said colds, so it's not bacterial, it's a virus. So this is really going to help to destroy anything going on there and relieve those symptoms. It does help to destroy Staphylococcus aureus, I believe it is. And in order to battle that with colds, there's several ways you can take it. It can be administered or taken subliminally under the tongue in maybe a 1-to-1 ratio with another oil or water, something like that. It's very, very useful in teas. It can be used in steam inhalation. So put a couple of those drops in, in some hot water, some boiling water, and a towel over your head. It's going to help to relieve the mucus, to break stuff apart, as well as kill any infections or anything that's going on. You can put some drops in a diffuser and use it that way. It can be used to help with sore throats. So you can use it in a water gargle, or subliminally that way as well. It can be used to help with bronchitis. So it's going to help get rid of that mucus, that phlegm, and break it up. It can also be used as a salve or as an agent on the body. So it's going to help to relieve muscle pain or things like that. It does help with allergies, like I said. So really, really good in teas, maybe with peppermint or something like that, that's soothing. if you want to use it in skin conditions, you could put it with some coconut oil maybe, or straight on a cotton swab. So it's good to help with rashes or even acne, I found out. So on a cotton ball, you could dab it on acne. It's going to help to relieve the redness, the inflammation, but it's also going to attack the bacterial, which is what acne is, and help clear up acne. And I know I'm running through this stuff really fast. Sorry. So, because it helps with yeast infections, bacterial things, and stuff like that, it can help with athlete's foot or maybe other toe infections you might have. So it can be used in a foot wash with Epsom salts or things like that. It can be used on drops directly on nail infections to help get rid of those. It can be used as, like I said earlier, as it's an antioxidant, so it can be used as a face rub or wash to help with wrinkles and things like that. As Steve was saying, it's an anti-parasitic. So you can do this in a tea with honey or subliminally. And so that's going to help get rid of parasites, maybe roundworm, ringworm, other things you have going on in your gut, maybe in conjunction with other things good for parasites like garlic. Can be helped with warts or other viruses like cold sore or with that virus there. So it's going to help to kill and alleviate that as an antiviral. And let's see. Can be helped with joint or muscle pain, like I said, if you mix it with coconut oil or even a moringa oil. And so I planted moringa today, and so I thought this was interesting. But moringa oil is a really good anti-inflammatory. So if you mix that with some oregano oil, that can help with that pain. You mix it with maybe some peppermint oil, and that's going to help numb it a little bit. It's good for helping with dandruff, and so you can add it to a shampoo. Its antibacterial effects are good for oral care, so you can add it to toothpaste or mouthwash or many things like that. So as we just did here, you can make oregano oil yourself. You can also buy it in many forms. You can buy it where it's dosed out a little bit better, so maybe in capsules or something like that, if that's your thing. But there's lots and lots and lots of studies on it. And so I just kind of ran through really quickly through a bunch of different things and brushed on it briefly. So like I said, I'm not a doctor. Do your own research and look into it a lot more. But I think this is really an amazingly useful herb as I start doing some research on it. And I'll, let's see, this is still going. A few more minutes and then I'll talk about the next step. I really think it's worth checking out and looking into for a lot of things you may have going on. Another thing it's good for is helping keep mosquitoes away. And so I think that has been, it may need a few more minutes, almost 15 minutes, but let me go ahead and switch back over here real quick. Hey, we still have a few people with us. I think a lot of times when I do those running through facts, I tend to lose a lot of people. All right. And so this is going to sit for a few more, and this is going to darken up and turn into a nice dark color. But what I want to do with this after it's been in here for a few more minutes is I'm going to take it and I want to put it in a dark place. And that's going to sit in a dark place where I shake it up every day or every other day for about 4 to 6 weeks. And so I'm going to let that sit. And once it's set for 4 to 6 weeks, I'll take a cheesecloth and we'll strain out any of the big particulates and just use that oil. And so it can be used all those ways I talked about. I did want to mention here as a side note, while that's sitting in the dark spot, another thing I've had in a dark spot for just about 6 months now is my vanilla. And so this is going for a year. This one is in vodka, and this one is in spiced rum. And so I'm going to open them up and just take a smell, see how they're doing. So this is the one in vodka. That smells like vanilla. So we're going to do these for a whole year. And someone else I came across said they even add the oregano oil to their fire cider to really help. And so my fire cider, if you guys watched me make that, was not a success. It was a failure. So I'll be remaking that here soon. That one smells even richer. That's that spiced rum vanilla. All right. And so a ton of uses. That was a little side note. I'm going to go ahead and hop into my next project now. And so I'm going to move this aside. I'll be right back. Okay. So for this next project, you can see all my mess there. I'm going to make a candle. And you may think, well, that's kind of odd jump. Why make a candle? And one of the things I found out when I was doing my research is oregano oil is supposed to be really good at repelling mosquitoes too. And we have been having, I got a bite right here. We've been having mosquitoes around. A lot of people are this time of year. The plants are going, the moisture's up. So it helps repel mosquitoes. Now, my oregano oil is not going to be ready for 4 to 6 weeks. So I'm going to go ahead and make the candle anyways. We're going to put a little bit of the fresh oregano in there, whether it helps or not. That's all right. I'm going to show making the candle because I think it's a cool craft. It's made in a quail egg and in a kind of unique way. And so we're going to do that, and I'll switch over to the bigger screen. Oops. There we go. Let's see if I can do that. Okay, that's good. And so I'm going to make a candle, and I'm going to make it in this quail egg. And so we have these quail eggs here. This is from the Celadon. My wife cleaned these out. She was actually planning on doing the same project pretty much, and so I had to laugh. But so it's cleaned out. We just cut the top off with the quail scissors. I have a wick here, and all I did was I got one of our used tea candles. They burn down, and you have the little metal base, and I put a piece of wick through there, and so I got that. And then for this project, I built a base. So all I did was take this, which works perfect, and I'll show why in a moment, but the size of it is the 7/8. So I got the 7/8 drill bit, and I just got myself a plug of wood and drilled that out, sanded it down until it's smooth. And so I'll show why we're going to use that in a moment. But first, let's hop on over here. Got my window open and a fire extinguisher. And I did want to point out real quick, having the fire extinguisher by, I'm going to be melting some wax. And when you do this, it's best not to do it over an open flame. If you had an induction plate or maybe like a candle warmer or even a coffee warmer plate, it's probably a better idea, but that's not what I'm doing. So I have my fire extinguisher. And I'm going to go ahead and get this going. There we go. And I'm going to put our pot on it. I'm going to turn that flame down quite a bit. This is an old pot, babe, so I'm not going to mess up your new one. In an old dish. We're going to put a little bit of water in there, and we're going to get that coming up pretty hot. And I am going to go grab my little rubber trivet from under our oregano oil. I did want to point out with that oregano oil, when I came across recipes, a lot of people say to keep it in the light. Well, there's two. They'll either say put it in the dark for a few weeks or keep it in the sun for a few weeks. I decided to go with the keeping it in the dark for a few weeks because I think that's going to keep more vitamins and things like that in it. The sunlight can tend to break those down, especially in oils a little bit. Hey there, Spice. Thanks for joining. And everyone else. So yeah, we got a couple people, and I'll get to comments more in a minute. But let me grab my trivet. I'm going to throw that in there. And that's just because you don't want glass right on the metal. And I'm going to take my glass bowl. This bowl was I found, so I got given. So we're going to put that in there. It's a double boiler. And then I have some wax. We save our little broken pieces, or I have a whole jar here. of candles that we saved. So it was sitting on the heater at winter, so it's kind of melted. But I suggest saving old candles, wax. You can melt down ones out of your anyways. And so I'm going to put this wax in there, and we're going to let that melt down. See my little spoon here. Not a whole lot of wax, because in this case I'm just going to fill one quail egg. And once this melts down, I'm going to add oregano to it. We're going to add a little bit of the dry and some of the fresh, and we'll mix that down. This is the point normally what you'd be doing if you're making a mosquito candle is melt down some of your wax, or make your candle if you want your wax, and then add the about 10 or 15 drops, or however, just depending on the size of the candle, of oregano oil to it. And that's going to help keep mosquitoes away. So that's an option of something you can burn as well. So this is going to take a minute. We're going to let that melt up. While that's melting, I'm going to go ahead and make the base to my candle. And so I'm going to plug in. And I'll show why I'm putting this base on here. I think it's kind of cool. But I'm going to plug in my hot glue gun. And so let's move this camera over a little bit. There we go. My hot glue gun plugged in. So this little jar, I think, is really neat. And we picked this up at the dollar store, I think. But you can put your tea candle in there. Am I on camera? There we go. Put my tea candle in there, and then it makes it easy to light and then sink down in the jar. That keeps it safer and then from blowing out. Or you could just reuse an old tea candle and take out the part that's been used and put your new candle in. One thing I did notice about the little quail egg candles, though, is they fall over kind of easy. Sola jumped in the chair. They can fall over kind of easy. You can put a hot glue base on them, but they can fall over and crack. So I'm going to put it on the plug that I showed earlier. So I made this plug, and we'll just hot glue it onto the little hole there. And then this fits perfectly, that 7/8 size, into the tea candle holder, or into the old little tea candles. And so that's going to help support my little quail egg. And so we'll put that all together, and we'll light that up. Got a couple people in here. Thanks, you guys, for showing up. Muchly appreciated. If you're watching now or later, make sure you give a thumbs up. That does help. Or down, I guess, if you like. That's fine, too. All right. And so this is starting to melt. Adding the oil would be much more effective, but that's all right. You do want to be careful, like I said, with the open flame. You can get fire. So. You're glad you're awake for this? Hey, well, I'm glad you're here, PJ. It's good to see you, as always. So tomorrow I do plan on doing a stream. It will be probably a short one unless Casey's up and going and wants to join me. It's been very, very windy outside, so we'll see how it's going. But I kind of wanted to do just a little garden walkthrough and point out a few things for that, and it'll be kind of a short one. There we go. And I know I don't think he's in here right now, but I do, if you watch later, I do have to thank Jerry for getting me onto the oregano oil. He was saying he had a sinus thing, I think it was, or it might have been bronchitis, I'm not sure. And he just couldn't couldn't get rid of it with other things. And so one of his friends put him onto oregano oil, so he started taking that, and it cleared it right up. And so I'm always looking here on the Homestead for more natural ways to do things, not just mask and cover up problems, but actually, help prevent them, or also to help them the symptoms and all. This is boiling pretty good. We might turn it down a minute. I'm also always looking for things I can grow around here and use that way. And so I thought this was neat. Now, right now we're making the candle, because this is something I can grow that hopefully will repel mosquitoes. We'll find out. And I'll do it with the oil later. And then also all those health benefits. And so, sorry, but I will miss in the morning. Hey, that's okay. Company coming early, and then brunch with your daughter. Hey, Bernard, that's all right. You have a great morning there. Always appreciate you being here when you can and moderating as always. But family is most important, and I obviously missed a lot of streams too. Hey, sorry I couldn't get back to your stream this morning either. I do want to point out anyone that watches that's not familiar with Verna's stream, she had a very good one this morning and is on there Saturday mornings, and check her out. Awesome. I love being outside. I hate being inside, and so I'm pretty sunburnt. I don't know if you can tell. I can see it on my camera. This is almost all melted. And I'm going to try and pour it without burning myself. So I'm going to go ahead and add in, well, we'll let that go a little bit more. I'm going to put together my mixture. And since I'm not using the oil, I don't know how beneficial this is going to be, but I'm going to add a little bit of oregano anyways. I'm going to mash that up real good. And I'm going to add a little bit of peppermint to this candle because I like the smell. Add a little bit of peppermint. And then I'm going to take my candle. If you can see that, so I got the little quail egg. And we'll put that wick in there. It's going to sit just like that. Yep, you are truly redneck, yeah. Okay, and you can see, very good. So put a little bit of glue right on that circle. Our base. And we'll put that egg on there. It's going to hold it nice and steady. I just dropped some glue somewhere. I want to plug that. I want to make sure I'm keeping an eye on my wax. I could have shaved these down a little bit. That would have been good. That's all right. We'll get it. So let me hop in while that's going, I guess. We'll watch it from afar. And we'll read some comments. Just in time. Oh, I should have read first maybe. But I took the rack behind my mower and picked up all the grass you mowed the other day from your animals. They were very happy. Yeah, and then planted a pear tree. I heard that. A gooseberry bush and a blueberry bush. Very cool. So we have a blueberry bush. It'll be our second year now. And then we have a peach tree. I would love a pear tree. I do remember you saying that. 25 strawberry plants. Now I'm jealous. Fresh strawberries are so good. So good, so good. So 42 minutes. Looks like we'll be just under an hour today probably. We'll finish this candle. We'll pour it and let it sit, or maybe right at an hour. And then we'll light it and see how that smells. Go. Watching wax melt. Super exciting. So I'm curious, have you guys ever heard of oregano oil or used oregano oil for anything yourselves ever before? Ordered 3 apple trees and a nectarine tree to arrive this week. How cool. How exciting. Not you. So you haven't used the oregano oil for anything? Well, I know, Mr. Lancel, you're very conscious as far as being prepared and sustainable and all those things, and all might be one you would want to look into, possibly grab a book on. You did, but too many years ago. PJ, you never heard of it, but never used it. Oh, you've heard of it, but never used it. I've always just thought of it as a cooking thing, really. Never really thought much of it. Jerry kind of got me thinking about it, and so I dived in and did some research. Man, I found out a lot. So it's definitely worth one giving a try. It's something that's easy to grow. It's almost done. I don't want to burn it. We'll go ahead and add it anyways. Hopefully I don't burn it. Woo, that smells yummy. Smells strong. That peppermint oil I put in there too. Come on, wow. So I've done a couple of these DIYs where I've melted things down here and I didn't shave them any of the times. I think I made when I was making deodorant, I believe it was. And so you'd think I'd learned my lesson by now to shave these down into small little pieces before I do this, but I don't learn. I mentioned a couple times, you may have seen in the beginning of this video, the corn bed we built, our planting. I just wanted to point out, I think it's really cool. We're going to grow corn in there and then wheat in there again the end of this year. Now, it's a small little plot. It's 10 foot by 6 foot. I've also really been working on automating our homestead as much as possible with our drip systems and stuff, and we'll show that tomorrow some. And that's because we want to spend time away from the homestead. I don't want to rely on that all the time, but while there's no emergency and whatnot, there is time to be away from the homestead. If we're camping and all that, I want to make sure animals are fed, things are watered. So I'm going to point out a little bit about my system tomorrow and how I have that. Almost there. Then I'm going to burn myself pouring it, probably. Away from keyboard, no problem. I hope Lucy's doing good there, Verna. But thanks. We've had a lot of noise here. We're in an urban homestead as well, and so we've had a ton of noise. The neighbors are very loud, but our dogs don't like the fireworks either. I should look into what herbs are good for dogs and help them calm and soothe and some medicine that way. So your automated watering is your nephew when you go away. That's the best kind, PJ. Yes. that is the best. Well, we don't know a whole lot of people that have the same interests as us around us, really. And so getting them to come out and feed the chickens and water the quail and chickens and all the plants and stuff, I don't know how that would do. We have a trip coming up. We plan on going to the Grand Canyon. I'm not going to say just when, but coming up. So that's exciting. This is almost done. Woohoo! So I don't know if this would classify as candle making. We're just remelting the wax and adding a little bit. So he actually waters daily anyways, so the animals know him. That's awesome. How cool. Well, our kiddos help out a lot around here. When we're here, they gather the eggs. Help me in any way I ask. We're always offering. All right. I'm going to turn this off. And we are going to attempt to pour it in the egg without burning myself. So let's see. Get this out. Try not to spill it. Try and get some of that oregano down in there. And let's see. Pour a little bit. I'm going to reset my wick a little. Oops. Oh, I kind of went everywhere. Oh boy. Well, let's clean that up real fast. We'll just have some wax on the outside of it too, I guess. Not too bad. That's all right. I'm going to grab a little paper towel, and we'll be right back. We're going to let that sit up anyways. Try and pull that wick over to the middle. Get it to stand. Let's see here. We're going to get creative for a moment. I'm going to try and get this wick to stand up in the middle. I don't have this Band-Aid on, so it's hard. There we go. We'll let that cool. Let's see. There we go. So we're going to let that cool down. It's kind of a green color. I'm hoping to keep the wick standing. Band-Aid is not helping. Let me remove that. So I'm going to watch me battle this wick. Okay, maybe that'll stay. I'll mess with it again in a minute. But I'll give that a few minutes to set up, and then we're going to set the little plug down into the holder, and we'll light that before we hop off tonight. That should put it just about an hour. Let's see. Candle making is melting wax and adding things to them. So I'm candle making. Awesome. I need an old grater to use for projects. Yes, I do. So for a few of mine, like making soap and laundry detergent, I steal my wife's grater, and she's not happy about that. And babe, if you're still in here, I apologize for using the cooking oil. I was going to use a bran oil I thought about, but originally my idea was to make the oregano oil, and I thought it only took 15 minutes to set up. I didn't get through the recipe quite long enough, and so I was going to use that oil and add it to the candle. And so with the candle burning, the bran oil burns at a much higher temperature. Anyways, I had some thought process behind it, but you're here cheering me on, getting that wick to stand. Thanks. Got it. Yes, I did. Use a piece of tape to tape it to the pencil. I think it should cool quick enough. In the middle. Here by this open window. Hopefully that cools down. Give it, 8 minutes, and then light it up and see how it burns, how it smells. And then I don't know with the fresh oregano if it's going to repel mosquitoes as well as it would with the oil, but I did melt it in there with the wax, so we're going to try it. And tonight I'm going to go out to my greenhouse, actually. So here's something kind of cool. And we still got a few people in here. Thanks for hanging in. So my main customer that buys the quail eggs has been really wanting vegetables for a long time now. And we've been providing the vegetables for our family. My original mission for the garden was to supplement our diet, to eat, more healthy, to learn, and then to preserve as well and put back. And so it wasn't to sell really, but now I do want to provide some of that for some people. So we're thinking about doing some bags of lettuce mix and some other vegetables as summer rolls on. So the greenhouse, the plan was to expand it anyways, but I'm going to finish the other half or the other quarter of that half. The plan is to put up some PVC pipes and to grow lettuce in those and to kind of do a vertical wall. So that'll be an interesting project. Hopefully I get to, and do a vertical wall of market lettuce in order to put in bags. So with that, we'll also be making a drying rack, and I'll be building that. I'll be building a salad spinner, and then talking about bagging and preparing. So of course, I've always said I'd love to go to farmers market and do something like that. Because of certain reasons, that's really hard to do. We work full-time jobs and all that. So now I'm gearing maybe instead of farmers market into maybe picking up some good clients and being able, like a misfit box maybe, but being able to supply them. And to my clients that already buy eggs, it's even easier because I'm already delivering. So I'm thinking about making a virtual farmers market stand, if you will, for those local people that they can log into and select what I have, what I put on there, and I'll put a box together for them. So there's an idea. I saw FD, so freeze dry. Oh man, I freeze dried some strawberries, your rabbit stew, and half a tray of sliced beets. Wow, how cool. Freeze dried strawberries are just like candy. As a matter of fact, I have some sitting right there I'm looking at. Not as good as yours, I'm sure, but let's see. So certainly not as good as Verna's, but this is something I do keep a bunch of bags of these on hand. Uh, give you a little bit of morale if things are bad, maybe, or just in general, they're great. Absolutely good to eat. And then you got rabbit stew and sliced beef. Something I've been looking at a lot. So I watch Rose Red Homestead. I don't know if anyone else ever watches her, but she's been doing a lot of freeze drying lately and doing powders. And so she do like powdered beets, powdered zucchini, things like that, and then adding them into smoothies or just food in order to get those vitamin boosts. Yes, I know, Verna. That's why I said yours is much better. You know what? So there's this app. I do want to mention. I don't mention these things a lot, but there's an app called Yucko, I believe. Yeah, Yuko, and you scan things. You'll scan the barcode, and it tells you if it has dangerous items or dyes and all those things. It gives it a rating. Look into it. But when I scanned one of my waters, and then I looked at the water bottle and it had like 6 ingredients. But let's see. So this is well, it just says ingredients: freeze dried strawberries. So this might be okay. Of course, with that, you don't know what they sprayed the strawberries with, what nutrients they gave them, or how those were grown. So I'm sure yours are much better. No sugar added. That's good. Anywho, doing it yourself is much better. I'd love to get a freeze dryer someday. Right, let me check this out. Starting to set up. Yep. Shouldn't have messed with it. There we go. It's starting to set up. I might go just over an hour, but I would like that to set and to light it. It's kind of a cool color, green, and then it has the stuff in there. So I'll clean off the base of it. Let's see if I'm pointing on camera. I'll clean off the base of that where that wax spilled. And then that plug is going to be really neat. I could have painted it or decorated it or made a bigger plug maybe. This one I like though because it fits in the tea candle size perfectly. And so anything that takes a tea candle, you could pop a little quail egg in there or maybe make a couple of them on there. So I had bought some quail eggs from Kelly, and she did a really cool idea and had them in a nest. And if you guys want, you can go buy some from her too. Put it in the refrigerator, Verna's saying. I'll be right back, y'all. Verna is full of good advice. So we'll pop that in the fridge for a moment. That wick is sitting up good. All right, there we go. We'll pop that in the refrigerator for a minute. Good advice. And then, yep, the powders you can also add to bread. Didn't think about that. Ice cream, soup, yep, as well as smoothies. Great advice. I thought those were kind of neat. Maybe even doing some powdered herbs or something like that, right? I don't know if that would be helpful. You can maybe some powdered oregano or something. It is delicious in cooking, I know. Yep. So we'll let that sit for just a few minutes. Oh, thank you for showing Feathered Connections. Yep. So you can buy them from her. That's where I got the idea from. So I want to give her credit, of course. I thought I had them sitting right here. I do not. I was going to show them. That's okay. Pick them up from her. She sells them. They're awesome. Or make your own. Kind of cool. My wife was had some eggs that she had cleaned up and extra cleaned up, and so I asked her what her plan was for them, and I was going to make a candle anyways. I was just going to fill one of the old tea candles up and do it that way, or possibly a mold. But when she said she was going to make candles out of some of the reclaimed wax she had, I thought, wow, that's perfect. Perfect thing. I had a couple different carrier oils and things out here I was going to show. peppermint. Let's see. Not a whole lot else going on in here right now. I haven't gotten into making my own shirts and things like that yet. I've still been messing with the designs. I'm not a great artist, so I got to finish doing that, and it's just finding time. So those are coming along pretty quick. And another minute and a half, and then I'll go grab that candle. So let's get this set up here. And what I'm going to do, well, we'll close that window mostly. There we go. One moment. All right, that looks like it works nicely. So it's still probably a little bit soft, but good for us to do. So let's see. All right, scrape off. There we go. Look how cool. And so I'm going to scrape off a little bit of this wax on the base, not all of it, because it's still kind of cool. Yeah, that's all right. We'll scrape some of it off. And then this, I'm going to take our jar. Pop that right in there. Ooh, I got to go find a lighter. Give me just a moment, and we'll turn these lights down as well. We'll find a lighter here. Paraffin wax in a pinch. Oh, okay. Very cool. I think I do suggest saving these little tea candle metal bottom pieces because they come in handy. There we go. And let's drop that down just a bit. Wow, that smells wonderful. Yeah, that smells good. I don't know if this one will keep mosquitoes away, but it's worth a shot. Here we go. Well, thank you everyone for showing up and for being here as always and all your support. Thank you, Verna, for moderating. You guys all rock. I'm going to play our little like and subscribe video and then hop off for this evening. It should work, she says. Well, we will try. I'm going to take it outside here in a minute as I let those chickens out, or as I turn the lights on so the chickens lead up the roaches, and then let them go to bed. I'll take this with me. Very nice. Thanks, Mr. Landfill, for being here. So let's play this little video.
Remember to hit the thumbs up and subscribe.
Gooey.
Party pooper.
Have a blessed night, y'all. We'll see you next time.